One of the major differences between man and animals is that man and animals have got one common quality which they share, and man has got one extra quality exclusive to himself, in which the animals do not share. The common quality between man and all other animals is that they may act on impulse and instinct. That they do act on impulse. Suddenly you find a person taking a decision or being led away by emotion. Suddenly you find a person reacting to a situation without even waiting to think and ponder. Impulse. These impulses sometimes may be good, sometimes bad. When a person is hungry, instinctively he rushes towards food. That is impulsive, but that is to his own benefit. Because he requires, there is a demand within, he goes. So all those demands which are natural, and an impulse, an instinctive reaction is to obtain it and to satisfy oneself for the need that has arisen, those impulses are harmless, provided that they are carried to a reasonable extent. Again, taking the same example, I am hungry. So the result is that I would like to rush towards food. Food is made available, I started eating. But then I don't want to control myself. I go on eating as long as the food is before me, not realizing that there is a limit to what I should take. And then when I rise, I can't even walk. Now that is called a glutton. Now here, there was an instinct, but it was carried too far. Second thing is to be impulsive, is when somebody provokes and you get agitated without waiting even for a second. Immediately you react with anger and bombard him. That sort of thing is also an impulse. But any good act done by impulse, any good act, is good, but is nothing special, is nothing commendable in as far as man is concerned. Man has got one exclusive quality. He does by consciousness and intention. There may be no impulse. That is called quwwat-e iradi, means he intends doing good. There is no impulse. There is no instinct. He makes a niyyah that he wants to do something. For example, I make a passionate speech here, for example, appealing for a fund for poor. And I'm able to draw a picture, very sad picture of the affliction of the people in, say, Iran or India or Afghanistan, let us say. And the listeners are so very much moved that immediately, one after the other, mu'mineen rise to say, all right, give. This is an impulse, an instinct which is good. But you have been aroused. But one morning, if you rise without any external influence and make a niyyah that today I would like to help someone poor, there is no impulse, there is no instinct, there is nothing. You have made a niyyah, that consciousness that there might be some people who need, and let me come to the rescue or assistance. That is the peculiar habit of a man. It does not exist in animal. And from there akhlaq begins. Because if you abuse me, and if I retaliate by abusing, that is an impulse. But if you abuse me and I make an intention of answering you in polite terms, trying to shun the abuse as far as I am concerned, then I have made an intention of good deal. This is very different. You see, when a dog barks at the dog, another dog, that dog must answer back. There is no civility as far as dogs are concerned. When one dog barks at the other, this other dog must bark back. When it tries to bite one, the other must try to bite back. This applies to all the animals, even birds. If one pecks the other will peck the first one. Man, if one tries to abuse the other or wrong the other, and the other fellow answers back in the same coin, then it is impulsive. But there are cases where man decides by intention to keep quiet. There is the first example in Quran. First example is when the children of Adam quarreled, for example, two sons quarreled. Habil tells Qabil that even if you extend your hand to kill me, لَإِن بَسَطَّ يَدَكَ لِتَقْتُلَنِي, if you extend your hand to kill me, مَا أَنَا بِبَاسِطٍ يَدِيَ لِأَقْتُلَكَ, I am not going to extend my hand to kill you. Look at the difference. There could have been a retaliation, tit for tat, but there is no, because there is one beauty in human being, that he does not react if he intends to. And this is exactly what akhlaq is. In Dua Bakaribul Akhlaq, Imam Zainul Abidin salawatullah wasalam alayh says, Allahumma wasaddidni li an u'arida man ghashani bin nusr wa ajziya man hajarani bil bir wa uthiba man haramani bis silah وأكافئ من قطعني بالصلة وأخالف من اغتابني إلى حسن الذكر وأن أشكر الحسنة وأغضي عن السيئة. Something which I think even the most modern books of psychology and human conduct have not been able to explain yet, which Imam has said in this dua. Oh God, grant me that capability that whoever tries to cheat me, I reply back with fairness. Whoever tries to deceive me, grant me the ability to reply back in fairness. Whoever wants to backbite me, grant me tawfiq to speak good of him. And whoever wants to cut off the relation with me, grant me the nobility to join and make amends with him. There is a difference between two sides. وَأُخَالِفَ مَنْ اغْتَابَنِي إِلَى حُسْنِ الذِّكْرِ. He does my ghibat. I, in his absence, will talk good of him. وَأُكَافِيَ مَنْ قَطَعَنِي بِالصِّلَةِ. Whoever wants to cut off the relation with me, when it comes to my turn, I will try to join it back. Now, look at the difference. This is exactly where people are baffled. Maliki Ashtar, we all know the name. Maliki Ashtar was commander-in-chief of the army of Imam Ali alayhi salam in Jamal and also Siffin. The most staunch fighter, warrior and friend of Imam Ali, and also a very learned man. And he was also a very pious man. He is the man who told Imam Ali, Ya Ali, Mawla, in this particular battle, I have killed more than you have killed. He was not trying to take any limelight, but it was a sweet sort of exchange of words. Imam al-Islam smiled and said, yes, Malik, there is no doubt that you have killed more. But there's a difference between the people you have killed and the people I have killed. When you kill, you see a disbeliever, a hypocrite, and you kill. But when I kill, I see there is going to be no Muslim even in his descendants. I will not kill a person. if there is going to be an Islamic follower in his descendants. There is a discretion and what we call discernment between the sword of an imam and the sword of one who is not an imam. He was passing, after the battle, he was passing through the bazaar of Kufa. And one of the traders of bazaar, not knowing that this is Maliki Ashtar, unfortunately I have to say this, that we see all these things in Islamic countries where we should not have seen. For example, washing the utensils and throwing the water on the street. I mean, unfortunately, I have to give the examples of those countries where Muslims live predominantly. They have a habit. They wash their utensils, jugs, cups and everything, and then you find water being spilled on the streets. The month of Ramadan is coming. You will see how many Muslims make a habit of spitting in the streets. And if you ask them, they'll say, because you are fasting. Although fasting does not tell you to spit. And whatever saliva you gather, you can swallow. Nobody stops you. So, some of the dirty habits which we must shun. But they have it, still you have. You can go to Arabia, you can go to many other parts, I wouldn't like to name, but you've got to be very careful that somebody might just throw. It so happened that one of the traders actually, knowing that Maliki Ashtar was passing, he had just washed his utensils and he threw the water at him. Well, Maliki Ashtar looked at it, looked at his clothes, pak, inshallah, tahir. But the color of his face changed. How can one be so insulting without any reason? And suddenly something within him sprang up. Malik, he should not have done to you. You are a commander of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And at the same instant he answered back, Malik, so what? So what? A man does not know how to behave. You must not retaliate. You must answer back with politeness. Now he went back politely and there was a mosque. So he entered the mosque. Now while he was entering the mosque, someone, a neighbor of that trader, told him, Baba, do you know you have thrown water at home? A passerby. It's nothing very important. It is park. It is park. You can't give him a bath on the street like that. Do you know who he was? He was Maliki Ashtar. He was the commander of Ali ibn Abi Talib's army. And this is Ali ibn Abi Talib's rule. Do you know that? Khalifa is Ali ibn Abi Talib. The man started shaking in his pants when he heard this. Now he thought, should I wait till Maliki Ashtar came to take a revenge? It will be too late. Let me go and fall on my knees and apologize. So just as he ran, he saw Malik enter the mosque. By that time, Maliki Ashtar had already begun his namaz. So he waited, poor fellow, for Maliki Ashtar to finish. When Maliki Ashtar completed his namaz, he went and begged, Agha, I did not know that you were Malik and all that. I'm very sorry, it all happened inadvertently and things like that. Malik looked at him and said, Baba, I have forgiven you there near your shop. And I did not want to come to the mosque. I was going for my own work. But particularly I have come here to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To thank Him. That I don't have that pride, that I retaliate back. He has given me that quality, which is called quality of Islam. وَأَنْ أُعَارِضَ مَنْ غَشَّنِي بِالنُّصْحِ وَأَنْ أُخَالِفَ مَنْ اغْتَابَنِي إِلَى حُسْنِ الذِّكْرِ. And that is why I say, when we hear the stories of Aimma, Mu'jiza, yes, good quality. But try to see the lesson behind it. Thousands of times, when I was young as 9 years old, 10 years old, I have been listening to this story till today. Every time Imam Hassan alayhi salam's life is mentioned, this story is invariably mentioned. That one Shami came to Imam Hassan, started abusing Imam Hassan. He was a stranger. And Imam alayhi salam asks him, it seems you are a stranger. He says, yes, I have come from Sham. Right. Are you hungry? Perhaps we will take home and feed you. Are you without clothes? We will give you the clothes. Are you in need of some money? But what we don't realize is, that Imam Hassan very well knew that he is not only his personal enemy, he is enemy of Ahlul Bayt, beginning from Ali ibn Abi Talib, whole Sham. People of Sham used to converse sometimes with Kufis, talking about Ali ibn Abi Talib. One Shami tells Kufi, why are you after Ali? He says, Ali gave his ring while he was praying. The Shami says, did Ali ever pray? This is in history. He knows that the man is coming from a city where people don't believe that even Ali prayed. Yet he tells him, if you are hungry, let me feed you. And the man looked at it and said, then you are Hassan. People told me that Hassan was another man. We never knew that you have this sort of akhlaq and this sort of behavior, that you counteract differently. So khulq-e insani begins this way, by counteracting exactly in a different way. This is what Quran says, idfa billati hiya ahsan. Try to stop that which is evil with that which is good. So now at the most, what can happen is, you may have done something good, you may have done no evil. I stand up to accuse you. You want to talk, I don't want to listen to you. What will you do? You will keep quiet and go away. That keeping of quiet and silence maintenance helps you in the long run in the building of akhlaq. And this is the meaning of Islamic quality given to us. Now, when this happens, then human soul rises. I remember once talking to an audience of Hindus and Christians, and I was talking on moments of inspiration in a human mind without any religious connotation at all. And suddenly one man stood up and he asked me a question. I answered him, but he went on arguing. And the argument was quite evident that he was trying to be a bit difficult, a cheeky, what we say. My teacher used to be there. He was a Hindu himself, Patel. We used to learn English from him. He made a gesture to tell me, don't answer, keep quiet. So I kept quiet thereafter. And when the talk was over, he came and said, look, my dear son, you argue to an extent where the fellow is prepared to appreciate. When you find that now argument is advanced from ignorance, keep quiet so that the fellow may know that he is an ignorant fellow. But don't try to waste your time and waste your breath. There must be a limit to everything. And this is the reason why we are not supposed to react abuse for abuse, hitting for hitting. Keep quiet. Inshallah, haqq will always be haqq. Al-haqqu ya'lu wa la yu'la alayh. Truth is always predominantly up. Nothing can supersede truth. That is something which we must know. Right. So, the human soul becomes purer and purer. And believe me, my friends, the month of Ramadan is coming. We will fast, inshallah ta'ala, and may Allah accept it. We will pray, namaz shab, namaz maghrib, isha, wajib, dhuhr, asr, subh. But even people will rise for namaz tahajjud, shab. People will read dua extra. People will have all ibadat. And when they come to the mosque and meet, if they fight for one kababu, or for one cup of tea which was served later, or anything, it shows that while our barometer in ibadah has gone up, our barometer in humanity and civility has gone down. What was intended is that together with ibadat, our akhlaq also shine. This is what Ghazali writes in his book, that once in the month of Ramadan, the Prophet was passing in Medina. He heard one lady abusing her servant, maid servant, Kaniz. So the Prophet heard this on the street. So he stopped and he said, is there someone who could give a glass of water to this lady? When the lady heard this, she said, Ya Rasulullah, ana saim. Ya Rasulullah, I am fasting. The Prophet said, my friend, what are you fasting with all the abuses in the mouth? What is the fast for? So khulq will have to rise. And this is what the Western standards today tried to hit from the root in 1960. That the human soul's purification, which is brought by haya and iffat, by being abashed, by feeling ashamed of committing something inhuman and unhuman. That was banished right from the root. This is what Bertrand Russell writes. And listen to me. He writes that chastity for a woman is no virtue. Chastity is pak damani. He has written in his book. Why? Because if chastity is accepted as a virtue, then a woman has got to behave. But if you just try to convince people that there is nothing like pak or chastity or iffat or to be pure for a woman, then it goes right from the root. Therefore, the question of virtue does not arise. And it was from then that you and I now see boys and girls cajoling, caressing, wooing each other on the bus stands. It was not there in English society. This sort of shameless behavior, which we call shameless, to them it is not shameful at all. To them it is normal. But something which only happens in the kingdom of animals is now happening in kingdom of man. As if these people have no houses, that they have no rooms to go into, that they must perform what they perform on the streets. You see? For everyone to see. And worse than that, had it not been this member, I would have told you what they do in front of their own parents, like animals. Why? Because the idea of being a clean human being with akhlaq, which is governed by intellect and not by impulse, was actually removed. Promiscuity became fashion. Extramarital relationship became a fashion. Today, it is common for a woman to say that I am having an affair, although I have a husband. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. There was a time when we did not smoke before our parents. Smoking itself is makruh. To smoke before my father was not haram. No. But we did not smoke. Many of you did not smoke before father. Even today, there are families in which people don't smoke in presence of their father. Leave aside father. Father is a full father. They would not smoke even in presence of any elder. If they see an elder coming, you'll find them hiding or taking it away. Is it there in Sharia? Is it there any law in Sharia about this? This is nothing but being conscious that I should not do something which will look a bit impudent in presence of an elder. That's all. That consciousness and awareness of granting that izzat and that honor and grace to an elder, that I may not do this in presence of him. That's all. One thing. Second, there is a room here and there for elders to lean and sit down. If there is an elder person sitting in the middle who cannot find a room anywhere here to sit, and youngsters sit down here to enjoy the recline, that is against akhlaq. But if a young man observes there is an elderly person and he rises without being told, rises and says, Baba, please have your place. This is for you, not for me. Tafaddal. That means, again, he has stood up with intention and irada, not by impulse. And this is the height of akhlaq. All these are being discouraged. In the Western civilization, this is being discouraged. Father is just another human being. If he is old, so what? If you don't believe me, I hope all of you believe me, because you know better about these things than I do. I am a newcomer to England. But I can tell you one thing, that what I have seen during these 6 to 7, 8 years shocks me beyond my belief. The father himself agrees that he be treated not as someone to be respected. And so does the mother. Over. Had it not been for this, where human behavior goes out of control, you would not have seen the type of writings which go with stationery, with cards, with Astaghfirullah al-Azim, Tawbah, Tawbah, Tawbah. Now you are 18, you can do whatever you like. A card says, who gives this card to whom? Huh? Who? Father gives his card to his son. Now you are 21, you can go and do whatever you like. And if it is Snashri father gives to his Snashri son, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Qiyamah. So what is required is haya. Haya. When you come there, you are my younger brother. Even then, I'm supposed to act with some constraint when I talk to you. You are my equal in age, I talk to you in a different way. But if you are older than me, then I talk to you in a different way. For a mu'min to rise when he sees an elder, and to act humbly before an elder, and to bow down before an elder, is an elder. This is what we have totally started to forget. And we become a society of bashless, shameless people, men and women. And now Dr. Lakha's subject comes in. And this is only for 10 minutes. It was an important subject to which he has given, alhamdulillah, a good treatment. I don't want to go into many things. I'm loaded with problems. Not one, two. If you come to seek within my heart and my mind, I will show you files after files opening. Now, all those things are because haya has gone out. Haya. Now, if the particular syndrome of which he has talked, which is of course a common syndrome, even Sharia has mentioned this. Even Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has mentioned in hadith. Of course, he gave a scientific treatment because it's medical question. But Rasulullah has mentioned this, that such things do happen to women. But there are two things that go together reciprocally. If there is haya, now this is what I say, haya is sharam, what we say sharam. Unfortunately, there is no one word in English which will give exact meaning of it. It is not only shame, it is not only shyness, it is not only bashfulness, it is something more than that. Therefore, it is haya and sharm. If there is a sharm and haya in a woman who is suffering in those days with that haya and sharm, she will exercise a constraint despite her illness, despite her disposition. When she talks to her mother-in-law, when she talks to her husband, when she talks to the family, she will talk based on haya. But if haya is removed, then under the pretext of this pain of backache, She can do anything she likes to her mother-in-law, to her husband. And then if she blames that my house is falling apart, it is falling apart because something is missing in akhlaq. Now come to men. If man has the consideration of haya, that what is a wife after all? What is a wife? What do people think wife is? What do men think wife is? Afsos, it is a member, I can't talk more openly. But what do you think a wife is? Is she your kaniz? Is she your, what you call, yaya? Has she come to your house only to bring you children in the world, to satisfy your lust? What is she? That you can do whatever you like. No, she is a partner. Without her, if you are married, I must say, without her your life would have been incomplete. And believe you me, I speak from experience, that although English people call her a better half, I really call her the best half. Because sometimes had it not been for a woman, there would have been no great man. It is she who supports. It is she who gives the encouragement. It is she who relieves you of the worries of the house, despite all the problems. A woman is a noble creature, and the wife can be noble, provided we treat them the way they should be treated, with haya. At least consider a woman who is at your service all the time. If she is taken ill, or if she is suffering from a particular this symptom, can it not be for a man to put up with it and bear it, saying that these are the days of difficulties? Or should a man quarrel? I sometimes do not understand how a husband can raise hand to hit a wife. I simply cannot understand. These days, in what we call Western civilization, the hitting incidents have increased beyond proportion. Now what I tell those people who hit the women, wives, that if you are really very brave, why don't you come and fight with us? Man to man, there are so many people who would like to fight. We have got a fitness club behind here downstairs, run by Mahmoud Khaku. We have got it. Let us come there and fight. Friendly fight, of course. But let us have blows, exchange blows, so that that feeling which you have of hitting someone, you are hitting a helpless woman. A woman who cannot retaliate. A woman who is helplessly under your care. You are hitting. Islam has only once in Quran prescribed hitting. Only once. And that is only for a very special circumstance on which people have been asking me so many questions. Why? Only in one case. Only in one case. That is persistent disobedience after having tried by words and persuasion. Only once. And that also means a light hitting, not hitting with manundo. With hammers. You see, people have been asking, what they do themselves, nobody asks. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. This really is an evidence of shamelessness to the extreme. It is a cowardice to hit a woman. And it is haqqun nas, because although she is your wife, you have no right to hit. But who will tell? And if we ask, we are faced with situations whereby sometimes it makes us laugh as to why this thing should happen. Can we not rise? If I hit a woman, a wife of mine, do I understand that I have a daughter who will tomorrow get married to someone? What will happen to me when I learn that, for example, my daughter, who is somebody's wife, is being hit or beaten? So you will find that khulq and akhlaq It is essential, more than forming a matrimonial committee for reconciling. It is more important to form a matrimonial committee to teach how to get married. And the meaning of getting married. And the meaning of having a wife at home. And how to create heaven on earth by having a peaceful home. All this comes from haya and sharm. When haya goes away, everything goes. That is why. Even if I talk to my friend, say, we are all friends. Imam alayhi salam said, do not ever pronounce a dirty word. Do not pronounce a dirty. Even say you are friendly, you are all in one friend. Nobody takes it. Don't pronounce. Do not pollute your mouth. Because to speak a dirty word from the mouth means there is no haya. And don't abuse. Never. And he said, do not speak untruth. To speak lie also means there is no haya. And then he said, if you want to test if there is haya and sharm or not, test your own conscience. When you are alone and nobody watches, would you like to do that which you would otherwise not do if people are watching? If you find that while people are not watching, you do whatever you like, and when they are watching, you become Parsa Billi, a very pious cat. So when I was reading a book by Bertrand Russell, just a finishing touch, he is ridiculing Islam in one sentence only, in one of his books. His subject was not Islam, but he is given just a passing remark against Islam. He says it is a religion which recommends people not to take bath naked even if they are alone in the bathroom. He has written in his book. He has written in his book, he is making a sort of a joke out of this. It is a religion which does not recommend its followers to take bath naked in the bathroom even if they are alone. Now this is true, but he can't understand it. It is true. It is makruh, not haram. It is reprehensible to take a bath even if you are alone, naked. There must be a cloth tied around while you are taking bath. But if you do not, even if you are alone, if you do not, it is not haram, but even there you are told to have at least one small cloth tied to you. Now, why is this? Don't ask me, because this is Mimbar. But you are all human beings, and I am also one of you. I am not Frishta. Right? We know the difference between remaining naked and remaining clothed, even alone, and the psychological impulses which rise in human beings. One thing. Second thing is this, that Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullah salamu alayh once entered in the river wearing clothes, and not only wearing the underwear or whatever they call, but he tied it round like this, like what we say ran page. So somebody said, Ya Ali, you have come in to swim, and why come you are tying yourself so much, as if you would not like anyone to see the private parts of a body? Nobody will see, you already have something. Imam al-Islam said, this is just a loin cloth. I am trying to hide my body from even those animals who reside in water. Ali ibn Abi Talib said, I am trying to protect myself from being seen, prevent myself being seen even by those insects which are in water. When he said, these people at that time smiled and laughed. They didn't understand the meaning and implications of it. It is makruh to sleep at night naked. At home, total naked, it is makruh. Even if you are alone in your bedroom. So, to be stark naked Islam discouraged it unless absolutely necessary because of so many implications which the Western people will not understand. Now, when the summer comes, what will happen? And it will come very soon. It is just down the corner. If there had been summer 12 months in England, there would have been no clothes in the shops. The way clothes start coming down for men and women, approaching near nakedness without any shame, portrays so many things and a danger to society wherein we live, where our boys and girls live. And that is why all the more I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He may protect us from the influence from outside, giving us good sense to understand that the virtues that we have been taught are valuable virtues to make our lives worth living. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.